So for the first part of our day, we were on our flight over to Denver. Right now it was, I believe, 5 o'clock San Jose Pacific Standard Time. And so you can see that we took our Southwest plane over up and above. And it was a pretty cloudy day and it was pretty gray outside. So that wasn't really surprising to us going into it. And then over here, when you're going into this side here, you can see the rest of San Jose from the above area here. And then I skipped over ahead to the flight over Denver. As you can see, there was quite a bit of turbulence going above and beyond there. And that wasn't quite surprising since we were going up 5,000 feet. And then right here is the inside of the Denver airport. It's pretty beautiful inside. There's my little watch there. And then over here is the little area heading over to the edge of the airport. Look, Barista Bot. That was cool. Coffee machine. And then there's a big plane. And then over here, this is the train to get to the baggage claim. You actually have to take a separate train to go to the baggage claim. And then you take the train again. There's the baggage claim. And then over here is where we were picking up the baggage. When you exit the Denver airport, there's a bunch of lights that pop out like that there, which is cool. And then there's this bridge that you see once you leave the Denver airport. And so for miles, it's pretty dark. There's not that much to see outside of the Denver airport, to be honest. It's pretty dark because they put it in the middle of nowhere. And so this is us going into the Aurora area here. So you can see that there's signs heading to Aurora. And you can see here the road here. It was pretty nice that night. You can see a lot of things happening. Lots of people on the road. I think everyone was heading there for the admitted students day, honestly. So I wasn't surprised that there was quite a few people there. And then there's the IHOP that we went to. There was quite a bit of nice decorations, as you can see here in the photos. I got some steak, and then my mom got some mac and cheese tacos. It was pretty interesting because they only have that there. So this was the following day here, and the following day was the day of the admitted students day. And so it was pretty sunny outside for the most, well, actually I thought it was cloudy, but it was pretty cloudy for the most part. And so you can see the sun starting to come out a little bit there. Just mind you, this was mountain time, so it was an hour ahead from Pacific time. Didn't make too much of a difference, honestly, in my sleep patterns, but it kind of did. And then over here is the Anschutz Medical Campus. And so it's pretty beautiful there. And then you can see here the trees were unfortunately having no leaves because it was pretty cold that day, in the morning at least. And then there's the Anschutz Health Science building here where most of the public health classes are, the nursing classes, all that good jazz. And it was pretty nice to be able to walk through the campus and see all the research being done around the campus here. And then inside here is one of the markets that they have that is apparently open late, and here is the different research studies. They do research on cannabis. And then here is the parking lot, and this is the actual campus of the inside. It's a very nice campus, so I really liked it personally. And there's the sign for the admitted students day.
Building on campus. It's commonly known as Research 3. I'll point out Research 1 and 2 on the way down that way. 7th floor of this building. There's this great lunch spot. On the research side of campus, this is Research 2, and the building back there is Research 1. Campus means, so don't ask me. Yeah, I don't know what it means. I actually looked at house, which is my personal favorite, and maybe like a Mexican restaurant, Indian. Diabetes. They study primarily type 1 pediatric diabetes. It's a great place with practicum, capstone, student affairs, dean's office, faculty offices are. It's on the 3rd floor, if you ever need to know that. except for it houses a lot of our certificate programs. We have about 20. If you're interested in more than one area, I would highly recommend in our school. So it's really cool to get like a physician's thoughts. This hospital, Colorado, it's consistently ranked one of the top 10 children's hospitals in the country. So if you're interested in perhaps some capstones or have lunch together, there's sometimes events there, so keep an eye out for that. Just a second, talk about some essentials. This is the School of Medicine, not essential, but interesting thing like that. It's a good opportunity. Behind that is housing options. They're the closest housing options. These computers have all the statistical software, and they have.
I'm just doing videos because it's easier.
Additionally, just a place to like have group meetings, hang out between classes, heat up your food, store your food. But you also don't have to. A lot of your professors are going to provide things PDF online.
So as you can really see, the CU Anschutz campus is pretty big. That's why I was breathing really hard in some of that walking there, just because the campus was super big. Like one part of the campus is like a mile away from the other. And this is how big the campus is from the top and the rest of Aurora there. And so this is the health science building on the outside again. And so that was really nice. And then over here was the outside of the campus, and we were heading over to one of the restaurants that were very good there in the Aurora, Denver area. And so you can see here we were just looking around to see what restaurants were around the campus. And then over here, they have some other restaurants and other shopping centers and apartments and stuff. We were just honestly looking at the different apartments in the Aurora, Denver area. This one takes you over to Colorado Boulevard. And then there you can see the bridge and the hospital area again. And then over here is essentially the stadium that they have there in the Denver area. It was pretty busy. It looked like they were having an event of some kind. And then here was the Filipino restaurant that we went to there in Denver. And this is the chicken adobo in there. And then there was other food as well. I honestly forgot what they were. And then there's a dog that we saw on the way back. This is Casa Bonita, which is one of the restaurants that's from the South Park show. If you ever watched it, the story is that Kyle didn't invite Cartman, and Cartman just went anyway. And so this is one of those restaurants from the show. And over here is the Belmar downtown area. It is really nice. Has a Nordstrom, has a Best Buy, has a lot of restaurants in it. And if you go into it like this here, there's a bunch of lights that pan out here, which was really nice to see. And then over here is more of the theaters there. They have Century Theaters, and they have the XD one. And then over here, if you pan out more, this is the freeway, and we were honestly heading back to the campus just so that way we can see how the campus is at night. You can see here that the VA Medical Center is actually right next to the CU Anschutz Medical Campus, and so that was really nice to be able to see. Sorry if my camera was getting a little blurry. It's just because it was really dark and the camera was having trouble adjusting. And so here is the campus here at its nighttime. So this is the Colorado Hospital. This is the medical campus here. So essentially the medical campus is right next to the hospital, which is very nice for those who wants to do practicums and capstones. And this was a very high school on my list here. So that concludes this part of the video. Enjoy the rest.